everybody, I'm here with a bit of a witchy book sort of haul, what I'm reading through right now. Yeah, like a little witchy book moment. All right, so once again, I am in the bedroom filming. Yeah, I just thought I would film in a slightly different spot. Sometimes I like to do that just to mix things up a little bit. Also as well, it's getting, unfortunately, to be spider season where I live. I have a spider phobia. And this time of year, as it's getting towards the end of summer here, towards fall, and I love fall. Don't get me wrong, fall is my favorite time of year. The spiders start coming in, and they're big and scary. So there's downstairs where my office is, there's a little bit more of them, and so I decided to come up here to the bedroom. So I'm a big scary cat, just telling you that right now. Anyway, I've got books. That's what you came for. The first, we're still reading through because we're going chapter by chapter in the Witchy Book Club. On my Patreon is Psychic Witch by Matt Aaron. This came out this year. I'm just going to rave again about this book. If you are a beginner or if you're looking to sort of hone your sort of like psychic, I would say psychic abilities, but more of like meditation, really developing your intuitive abilities. This is a great book. He breaks things down step by step. And, you know, he just gives you like different exercises to work with. So you may not end up using all of these, but you probably end up using some of them. So I really like this book. He explains his concepts really well. I think this is a great read. So we're continuing to go through that. Now, the rest of these books I got over the summer. I've been ordering some books because I've been home. I've been hanging out in quarantine. The first book that I have here, I just picked up, just started reading. And it actually was like one of these books I wasn't really expecting to buy, and then I ended up getting. It's called Wake Up Before Your Wake Up Call. This is not a witchy book. This is more of like a self-helpy type book, but it's for people in sort of like midlife, which I am now. This past Saturday was my 46th birthday. Yes, I'm 46 years old. I find it hard to believe that I'm closer to 50 than 30, but whatever. It is what it is, and you know what? It is sure beats the alternative, that's for sure. Very glad to be here for 46 years. So this is just talking about like being present. It's also talking about something that I think a lot of us in midlife don't always talk about, which is, you know, everyone talks about the midlife crisis, but when you get to midlife, you get to the realizations that some of your expectations aren't going to happen. You may be disappointed with where you are in life compared to where you wanted to be. And so it's sort of like a time of reassessment for a lot of people, and a time of like, you know, feeling out, well, you know, I've spent this long trying to do whatever. Where do I want to go next? What do I want to do with the second half or so of my life? So it's a book about that. I know that sounds super depressing, but it's not. And so this one's talking about like how her husband worked and then had a heart attack, and just some of the things that assessing our values, reassessing what we value, what we want to do in the world, who we want to be in the world, because who you are in your 40s and 50s is probably not who you are in your 20s, and that's probably a good thing, right? So anyway, I'll let you know what I think of the book. Like I said, you can see I just sort of started it, but that's the general gist of that book. The next ones I have are all witchy type books. The next one is palm reading. The Palm Reading Guide by Frank C. Clifford. I am a beginner palm reader. I'm nowhere near as proficient as I am with astrology or tarot. I like this one because it's like they have the basics here, and then they also have like pictures. Like they have some really nice graphics of what the different lines look like. They go through like the basic lines here, your lifeline, your headline, your heartline, and some of the different more common variations, as well as some of the smaller lines. So this doesn't go a lot into things like the mounts of your hand or, you know, fingers, things like that. I have some more complex books, but I thought it was like a really fun summer read with some beginner stuff in it. I've taken a peruse through here, but I want to read the whole thing, so I'll let you know when I'm done with that. The next one is Astrology for Real Life by Teresa Reed, who I'm a big fan of, a workbook for beginners. I would highly recommend this if you are looking to learn astrology and you're looking for beyond just like learning the 12 signs of the zodiac and what your sun sign is, which I think most of us know. This is like if you want to get to know your chart, if you want to know like your moon sign, your rising sign, where your Mars is, what the houses are. This is a really great place to start. It gets you to work with your own birth chart. I would highly recommend this book if you're a beginner. So I think it's also very modern. It gives a modern interpretation because there are a lot of good books out there for beginners. But this, I think, is a nice, not super long read for those of you looking to learn some astrology and know what some of the aspects are, all this kind of stuff that you might hear, as we say, astrobabble, like the jargon that if you're not familiar with, you might be like, what the hell is a square? What does that mean? What does the 12th house mean? This book can help you with that. So I would highly recommend that. The next one I have that I have not read yet is Raven Digitalis Planetary Spells and Rituals. This is Llewellyn books. So he goes through each of the planets, or I call them the zodiacal gods, so to speak, and has some suggested rituals and spells for working with them. Again, I've perused this book, but I haven't sat down and read it, so I'll have to do a full review. But my preliminary impressions of this book is if you are looking to work with the planets, this looks like a much more doable book than I got one called Planetary Magic. That one is very ceremonial type magic. I am not a ceremonial magician. I'm not a ceremonial magician. I do not have time for that. I do not have time for all that just time and energy and extra things you need to get. And I think most of us don't. This is much more straightforward. So he's broken it down. You can see there's tabs on the side for each of them. So for example, we're in Mercury there. And he talks about some of the things that are associated with Mercury, what you can use that particular kind of energy for. So there's travel safety spells here, which is perfect for Mercury. Tongue tying a spell to halt gossip because Mercury rules communication. Astral communication. If we go to Mars, cursing a violator because Mars is destruction, right? Mars is the god of war. Empowering your ritual tools. He's also empowerment. What else does he have here? Protection, creating a bottle. So creating a Mars bottle, calling a sex partner. So he has rituals and spells in here that align with the particular energies of those planets. Now, I have to say there is one disappointing thing in here that has nothing to do with the author. It has to do with the printing. All of them start with a cover page. There's Saturn, and then the next page is supposed to be kind of like a breakdown of their attributes and their correspondences, but it goes straight into this. It's like they're missing a page here, and I think that's a publishing thing. So if you look, for example, at Jupiter, so there's Jupiter. The first page has the little introduction with Jupiter and talks about it. And I feel like they missed a whole page in the printing process somehow. So I hope Llewellyn gets this fixed. It's one page. I'm not totally disappointed about it, but it is something to keep in mind if you pick up this book. I hope they've fixed that by now. Also, these velvety soft covers, these sort of rose petal finished covers that all these people are coming out with is pretty cool. I like that. Side note. The next one I have is the next book that we'll be doing in the Witchy Book Club, which will probably be in October, is Sigil Witchery by Laura Tempest Zakroff. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And it's all about using symbols and sigils in making your own sigils. So all the different things you can use, symbols that you can use, things to think about, applying sigils to things, what you might want to use them for. And I thought this would be a really nice design guidance, fun, practical kind of book to go through. So I'm really looking forward to reading that. So that's what's on my wish list right now. Wish list. or what I'm reading. I feel like I can't speak. What's wrong with me? So yes, I've got quite a few books here on a variety of witchy subjects, and one kind of a personal subject that I want to read. And so I have to stop myself now from buying more books because my stack of books to finish is like getting bigger and bigger. And it's like, I'm like a kid in the candy store when I see books, or I see one online and people are talking about it and they recommend it. I'm like, oh, I'll just add it to the pile. And then I go on Amazon, and you know how they have like the free shipping if you order over a certain amount. I'm like, oh, well, I'll just get one more book. And then I add it to the cart, and next thing you know, you have 4 books. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. So those are the books I'm reading. Have you read any of these books? Do you want to read any of these books? What are your thoughts on them? Let me know. I would love to hear what you're reading as well. And as always, thank you so much for watching. A big shout out to my patrons. You guys are amazing, awesome. I love you so much. Thank you for the support. Big shout out especially to Jennifer, to Nathan, and Marie. And if you want to join on the Patreon, we have a few different levels on which, like I said, at the witch school level, we have, we're talking about basic daily practices that you can do to ground your spirituality. In the Coven, we have the Witchy Book Club where we're working with Psychic Witch. We're also working with the planets. Right now, we're working with the Sun God. And we're working on health and healing energies. So if you want to check that out there, come on over, check it out. We also have tarot scopes. So lots of stuff going on over there. But thank you so much for watching. And as always, peace and love and rock.